Show that 3 is a quadratic residue of 23 but non-residue of 31. Solution: 3 is a quadratic residue of 23 if and only if 3 raised to power 23 minus 1 upon 2 is congruent to 1 modulo 23. That is, if 3 raised to power 11 is congruent to 1 modulo 23. Now 3 raised to power 11 congruent to 3 into 3 into 3 raised to power 3 into 9 modulo 23 congruent to 4 raised to power 3 into 9 modulo 23 congruent to 64 into 9 modulo 23 congruent to minus 5 into 9 modulo 23. Congruent to minus 45 modulo 23 congruent to 1 modulo 23, that is 3 raised to power 11 congruent to 1 modulo 23, which implies 3 is a quadratic residue of 23. Now 3 is a quadratic non-residue of 31 if and only if 3 raised to power 31 minus 1 upon 2 congruent to minus 1 modulo 31. That is, if and only if 3 raised to power 15 congruent to minus 1 modulo 31. 3 raised to power 15 congruent to 3 into 3 into 3 raised to power 5 congruent to 27 raised to power 5 modulo 31 congruent to minus 4 raised to power 5 modulo 31 congruent to minus 4 raised to power 3 into minus 4 raised to power 2 modulo 31 congruent to minus 64 into 16 modulo 31 congruent to minus 2 into 16 modulo 31 congruent to minus 32 modulo 31 congruent to minus 1 modulo 31. That is 3 raised to power 15 congruent to minus 1 modulo 31, which implies 3 is a quadratic non-residue of 31.